just across the border from us.
Yes, one block away.
And so, you know, it's even greater privilege to have your support coming from another community, but very close to Whitehall.
Very
You
close.
could throw a stone into Whitehall.
My next door neighbor is in Whitehall. So,
Okay. You're
and well,
literally-
we have, a long history with Whitehall. My husband for years worked for the Borough Whitehall School District, so everything we did was really to fall within Whitehall. And it wasn't until after we retired that I said, I think we need to do something with Brentwood if we actually lived there. So we took on the 4th of July parade. So that was our contribution. But I appreciate this. Thanks very much. It's been 6 years. And it is a lot of work, but once you get into a rhythm, and I will say that the veterans and their families have always been really gracious. They would love to have this particular location, and every once in a while people will say, well, I don't understand why you can't do that. But after you explain everything, and you have over 350 banners up in the community, it's really hard to pick and choose. So I was always very appreciative of how kind everybody was, and appreciative. I've sometimes just gotten voicemails that just said, "You saw the banner, thank you for getting it up." So it's been an honor to do it. And my husband would have been here, but he's not feeling well. He has a really bad cough, and he didn't want to bark at us. But he also, especially with the tracking, I could not have done. That's the one thing that, if you had sidewalks, it would have made that tracking a whole lot easier. So I needed him to be my bumper as he had the car there. But, so he did help a lot.
I know we did.
But
Yes.
as the Lions Club, we do appreciate all the support we get from the borough. And so just thank you very much.
Well, thanks, Elaine. You know what? And I don't know what you can do with all that free time now.
I took a part-time job.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you so much. And I want everyone to know also that Elaine provided us last summer, gave us plenty of time, that she was retiring from this volunteer program, and we advertised in the bulletin, in Whitehall Bulletin, about needing someone to do this heavy task. So I'm going to introduce Tawny Juarez, this lady, this kind lady. She's a Whitehall resident. Thank you, Tawny, for volunteering. We met with Alyssa, who works hand in hand with the coordinator. She makes it move smoothly for us. So we will be putting Tawny's information in the Borough Bulletin, on the website sometime. Because it's ongoing. We always have the banner program is ongoing. Like Elaine said, we have 350 banners up, and the bulk of it's done, if you will. But there's always new veterans and families who want to honor them, so we'll keep busy.
Yeah.
So thank you, Tawny.
You're welcome. I look forward to it, and thank you for leading such a wonderful program. She built it all, and
Yes.
I just have to step in. So
Very
thank you.
organized. Again, thank you, ladies. Now we are going to go to, now the public hearing. I'm going to open the budget hearing for our 2025 proposed budget. And first I am going to do a summary. The borough elected officials and staff spent over 6 hours across 3 Saturdays in November discussing and dissecting the proposed 2025 borough budget. The budget as proposed is lean on operations and conservative on capital projects. After cutting $145,000 in expenses coming into 2024, staff is projected to end the year under budget by an estimated $70,000 as a result of effective fiscal management. Whitehall Borough continues to be mindful of increasing operational costs in these inflationary times, and staff works diligently to manage costs whenever and wherever possible. However, given current contractual obligations that will continue to persist over the next 3 to 5 years, Borough Council is considering to implement the real estate tax increase of $500,000 in 2025 to help cover these rising costs. Whitehall Borough Council feels that the phased incremental increase is easier for homeowners to budget for and adjust to. Over the past year, Allegheny County has devalued Whitehall Borough by $13 million, resulting in a lower total assessed value of the community while simultaneously lowering assessed values on those whose individual assessments are challenged. The result was over $200,000 in refunds from the borough in 2024. There is more ambiguity, okay, you know what I mean. Sorry about that. Than ever before in the real estate tax revenue stream. It will continue until Allegheny County determines the future of property assessments. Given these facts and knowing that the $500,000 increase for 2025 will not raise the funds once thought, the borough is also discussing to increase realty transfer tax for the first time in 32 years by a 0.25 percentage point, or 1%, on all properties sold in the borough. This tax applies to all real estate transfers in the borough. Borough Council is hopeful this will help make up for unanticipated shortfall. Other revenues remain stable. Increased interest rates continue to see the borough's investments grow more than historically budgeted for. However, these higher interest rates cannot be counted on as a stable revenue stream as they are subject to larger economic conditions. Staff will continue to monitor rates and maximize the borough's returns as part of our fiduciary responsibility to taxpayers. Other revenues remain stable. Usually successful sophomore season at the swimming pool brought in unanticipated revenues over 26% than originally budgeted. Furthermore, the recreation program revenue exceeded expenditures by almost $10,000, allowing the borough to offer a mix of free and fee-based events for residents of all ages. On the expenditure side, over 40% of the budget is dedicated to public safety. In 2024, the borough assisted Whitehall Fire Company with the purchase of new self-contained breathing apparatuses, ensuring their safety as they keep us safe. The borough continues to set aside $150,000 annually for their vehicle refurbishment and replacement schedule. In 2025, the ladder truck will be refurbished instead of replaced for a savings of $1.3 million. Additionally, a joint fire study will be conducted in partnership with our neighbors in Baldwin and Brentwood boroughs and their respective fire companies to assess resources we have, look at the components of the boroughs and needs of our fire companies to ensure all residents continue to receive adequate and cost-effective fire services. The borough continues to invest over $3 million into the ground, maintaining the storm and sanitary infrastructure. As unfunded mandates such as MS4 and consent order phase 2 continues, Council is cautious not to spend down these fund balances by conservatively planning on 1 to 2 projects annually from each fund in addition to ongoing operations and maintenance costs. Projects on the horizon have stricter requirements and will come with a bigger price tag. The 2025 road program will be the last program paid 100% from the liquid fuels fund, as monies received from the state gas tax are projected to decrease. We continue to invest in the neighborhood park system. After completing phase 1 of the Overlook Improvement Project this year, 2025 will see improvements to the baseball field and replacement of the steps from Spring Valley Drive. In 2024, ACLD Tillotson School was gracious enough to collaborate with the borough on a new inclusive playground at Highland Park. Installed entirely at their cost, this playground is a welcome addition to the park system, meant for people of all ages and abilities to enjoy. Other capital improvements on deck for 2025 include installation of solar panels on the roof of the Mertza building, the last phase of refurbishment of the administration level, duty handgun upgrades for Whitehall Police Department, and rebidding of a pool cover. On the public works side, new lawn equipment will be purchased at the borough, as found savings bringing that task in-house. Also, a new wood chipper will be acquired thanks to grant monies from the state. Replacement vehicles for public works and Whitehall Police Department are already on order, locking in current prices and ensuring our fleet remains the best in South Hills. Whitehall Borough Council is committed to investing in our community and provide exceptional services that our residents deserve, making Whitehall Borough one of the best livable communities in the South Hills. We look forward to a successful 2025 And please tune in to live streaming of council meetings in January. So that is my opening statement. But now, council discuss the, what's that? Oh, I'm sorry, I have to ask the public first if they have any, comments on, our budget. If you do so, please come up to the podium. Okay, no one, all right. So, council.
Mr. Solicitor, I do not believe that either of the two proposed budgets that we have on the table for discussion tonight were placed in any amount of space for anyone which to make a comment. And as our agenda says that we are going to place the proposed budget on public display, when we really truly have two that we're discussing right now. And I really want to know procedurally, how can we possibly proceed within the deadlines of the scope of needing to put the proposed budget that we've come to agreement upon tonight, in time for the statutory 2 weeks to actually have an approved budget before the end of the calendar year.
There's two budgets that you're considering, you're gonna vote on, you're gonna make a choice, and that's the one that's gonna be put on public display, and the vote on the actual budget takes place at the 18th, which is, after, it's 14 days from now, which gives you enough time to do that.
Yes.
So that's why, so you're gonna authorize the putting whichever budget you decide tonight on public display, and then you're gonna vote in 2 weeks, which meets the requirement to.
Well, since we've definitely substantively made some cuts since we met over the past couple Saturdays, and even then, you would have had to be physically here if you were a citizen and be able to receive the handouts that were there on the table. How could the citizens possibly make an educated decision as to whether or not they have any specific questions on any line items when they haven't been given really any line items
That's what it will be
to
advertised.
begin with?
We're gonna advertise whatever budget we determine tonight to put on the next meeting's budget.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone was, Ms. Wertz, correct me if I'm wrong, but if anybody had wanted to come in to see either of the budgets, they were available.
Correct.
No one did, but if more available, someone would have to cost them.
Because I know as I was a citizen, I was to have to fill out a right to know request and wait for which time that such things could be released. And it did not matter that I was a council person-elect. I was just seen as a matter of the public, and I just wanted to speak for the matter of the public, for anyone who happened to be interested in what was in the budget and did not have ample opportunity for us to discuss, to even see what that we were talking about, because we're gonna talk about two different budgets,
Well,
Plan
that's what we're
A
gonna make
and
a
Plan B.
decision as a council tonight.
Okay.
Which one's gonna be on public display, and in 2 weeks, the folks will be here, we're all gonna discuss that.
Okay, let's lightning
Okay.
speed this.
Okay. All right, so do we have any other council members who wanna discuss, the half mil increase or no increase?
Yeah, I'd like to speak on it. Last year when we discussed the budget, we realized that we discussed the idea of rather than a 1 mil increase last year, we said this would be a little fair to the taxpayers, so we go 0.5 this year and 0.5 for the following subsequent year. So that was our plan, and it's been out there. It's been out there.
Yes. Yeah. It was talked about at the last meeting, and I know that.
Mr. V, am I correct in presuming then you are okay with raising the taxes when the net to the borough will be really 400K. That's what we're discussing here tonight, 400K.
I've looked over the budget, I'm definitely in support of this.
Any other council members have, any comments or?
Can I ask, Kathleen, I'm not publicly stated, but it seems as though you're saying you were not for it, why are you not for it?
As I was not for it, last calendar year, even though I did not get a vote at that time, because the county has, put forth a very aggressive, tax plan for, property tax, and I'm not really in favor of raising property taxes over 400K. I think that we can find 400K in this budget, and in fact, I'll give you over 400K that we can still do, and if we really wanted to keep the tax type budget here. We could consider just taking a year off of getting one police car. It's something that a lot of our citizens have mentioned to me, Chief, as to why we seem to get a new police car every single year. I know that there's a rotation for this, but I don't think that it would hurt that much to just plain skip a year. Much as I had said repeatedly in previous meetings that we really do not need to buy 2 new public works trucks, especially diesel trucks, in 2025. So the 2 of those together are almost 250K. But let's keep going, and let's reconsider whether or not we really need phase 2 of Overlook Park stairs, because they are in a condition that's not condemned. People can still use them. We don't want them to be condemned, but I don't think that necessarily waiting 12 months would result in condemning them. So that's over.
That's a safety aspect, we don't want to
Yeah.
gamble on.
Oh,
so.
well,
And then
goodness.
as far, yes.
I don't
and
think
talking
that
about
too many
safety,
people
the police
use it.
chief would like to respond to your comment about the vehicles.
We keep our primary service vehicles for 3 years. And then we cycle them out and bring in new vehicles. By the time they leave us, they log about between 95 and 110,000 miles on the road, with an additional 60 to 70,000 miles a night. If we keep them past 3 years, they're out of warranty. They start breaking down. We can't keep the officers on the road if we don't have cars to stay in service. We maintain a very robust vehicle maintenance program to make sure that the vehicles stay for the service time that we have allotted for them, to keep our costs low, so that we also get a higher resale value. Our system works. I think this system has been going on for at least 4 years. We don't want to get into a point where we're behind the 8 ball, and that the cars are out of service more than they're in service, and we also don't want to run into an issue where it's hard to replace the cars. COVID made it very difficult to replace police vehicles. The 2 vehicles that are just going into service, one went into service this week, one's going into service next week. They were ordered last October. They were supposed to be here in February. They didn't show up until the end of October. And it's taken a full month of November just to get them replaced. I'm not an advocate of changing how we replace the vehicles. I understand that vehicles are an expensive part of what we do, but they also keep the officers on the street and they keep the community safe. I personally have never heard anybody come to us and say anything about our replacement schedule. If anything, I give nothing but compliments on the condition, the way the vehicles look, the conditions of the officers, the way the officers look in their uniforms. I mean, I understand that it's expensive to operate a police department. I understand that it's expensive to operate a borough, but Whitehall is known as the Cadillac of the 5140. Now's not the time for us to lose our status and our ability to provide service by cutting back on police cars.
Okay, it's about status.
No, it's about safety,
It's about safety and service.
Bethlehem. we have any other comments from any other council members here regarding either the budgets? Because if we don't, then I'm gonna ask for a motion.
Wait, I just want to follow up on what Bill said about the fact that last year, when council was considering the budget and they knew they had to raise taxes, but they felt it would be better to raise, $500,000 last year and then $500,000 this year. I think it was 2004, I'll look to Kathy, I think she was the only one that, well, maybe Linda was on.
Yeah, I was.
We raised taxes, I think, the borough raised taxes, I think 93%, something in the 90s, 93%.
Yeah.
And so there was a lot of public comment about 93%, as you can imagine. But the comment was, hey, we understand that you need to raise taxes. Why did you have to do it all at once? And so the idea of, spreading it out over time so that the pain is not, as great is a really good idea. And I think that that's what council was attempting to do to avoid that problem that occurred in 2004 by spreading it out over 2 calendar years as opposed to instituting it all in 1 calendar year.
Okay, thanks, Mayor. That was a good summary of what occurred. Any other comments from council?
I have a question about something that you said in your introductory statement about the projection to decrease our revenues in the liquid fuels tax. Because it's my understanding that the Commonwealth is contributing the electronic vehicle registration fees that are going to be coming down and lumping them into the liquid fuels tax. And if you're thinking, well, that's going to be continue to be a shortfall as electronic and all other alternative vehicles are considered by the constituent base, then I don't think that that's really that accurate of an assessment. And if not anything, I would actually expect them to go up in 2025 with the new registration fees for e-vehicles.
Okay. Well, no, that's not what's anticipated with what I read and talked with PSAB about, so, that's just another one of the considerations, and that's another unknown, of course, but I think with due diligence, that's the way we have to move forward.
Now,
So-
okay, one more question for Ms. Wertz. So what we have here is 2 different budgets, and it doesn't look like anything out of the expenditures was a cut. How would we make up for the $400K shortfall should we choose to move forward with a 0.5, is it, mill increase?
Expenditures are decisions of council. Council will have the direct staff to prepare the budget according to whatever cuts you will agree.
Okay, coming from our, so, okay, we are, suggesting that our total revenues would be exactly the same, which is 13,600 and some change. 13.7 million, let's just call it, and it's 13.7 million for our total revenues and.
So the difference is the fund balance.
The fund balance,
Right.
okay, well, okay, this is where I'm really confused. So if you go to page 25 of our budgets, all packets have it. So at the end of the capital improvements fund, it says surplus to use of the fund balance.
That's of the capital projects fund balance, that is different than the general fund balance. We operate on a fund fund accounting.
Okay, so the decision would be to simply withdraw 400K from the general fund balance of reserves. Because if you're going to to not raise taxes or to raise taxes, the difference is 400K. Where would the 400K come from?
400,000 roughly is the equivalent of what a half mil tax increase would bring in.
Mhm.
Both budgets before council still dip into the fund balance, the general fund balance.
Mhm.
The difference between the two budgets before you, it shows on page 3 under the summary, the budget that shows no tax increase. Borough Council will then have to utilize $1,178,078 from the general fund balance. If a tax increase of a half mil is implemented, Borough Council would still dip into the fund balance, but only to the tune of $778,000. That is the difference.
So, and,
Okay, I see it. It's under revenues, it's use of the fund balance,
Right.
that's really taking it out of savings versus use of the fund balance. Yes,
that's
so
what I
that's what it is,
Okay.
and even though I was discussing another way in which we could get a transfer of another fund funded, that was discussed as something that is, oops, too late to discuss, but now, here we are.
we have, two budgets in front of council, so I'm gonna ask if there's a motion to place the 2025 proposed budget, including a $500,000 increase.
Ms. Bell, first I believe the public hearing must be
What?
closed.
Oh,
before that motion.
okay. We were in motion to close
I'm
it.
sorry, can I actually, I'm sorry, I do have a quick comment. I guess either budget, really, page 8. I believe there is a small, I believe there is a typo, which created an inversion. I believe, okay, so if I'm looking at our meeting budget, sorry, that was November 2nd, take lots of notes, friends, okay? The total general expenses from that meeting was $201,000. In this budget, it's showing as $210,000, but I can't find line by line where anything changed, unless, I tried to go through 3 times, I can't find it, but I believe the total building and ground change should then reflect as $235,350 instead of $244,150.
I honestly, without having the
Right.
electronic version,
Right.
that may be just an Excel miscalculation.
I just wanted to bring that to your attention though while we're in
Yes,
discussion.
yeah, thank you.
So say in the,
Okay, so
Page
page 8,
right,
total supplies and contractual is listed as $210,208. If you add everything up, it should instead match what we had in the proposal budget discussion of 201,408. So,
Without having that in front of me,
Yes.
but I will follow up on that
Thank you.
and
Okay, thanks, Lacey.
make
Yeah,
that
of course.
correction for either budget.
I know a lot of these
Close,
numbers
but
are all
still.
been nothing to these for a long time,
Yes.
and,
Right.
but thank you for.
yeah, no,
No,
of
thank
course.
you for
catch.
pointing that out.
And, do we hear a motion to close the public hearing?
Mr. Solicitor, with that in mind, I also want to bring up that we had typos in our 2024 budget. So what is the legality of perhaps having the typo in and our next proposed budget potentially?
This is, we're talking about the 2025 budget.
Yes, the 2025 budget where Ms. Thomas has pointed out a possible typo.
Well, I think, I'm sorry, go ahead, I'm saying.
So, if the typo is in fact in error, what does that do to our procedural way of moving forward with either budget being put on display with or without said error?
Okay, what it is the numbers in the line item were all agreed upon. It's, so whatever they add up to is the correct version, so the numbers are accurate. I mean,
The expenditures are accurate.
the expenditures are accurate, the total either was inverted or it wasn't.
Correct.
So either way, it's the correct, next.
And it's
do we-
most likely a typo or an Excel formula error as we copy and paste.
But it's not a change to the budget. The budget is not changed, so there is no
Okay.
significance to it.
As long as page three stays intact, which is the summary page, then, we can proceed.
Yes, you can proceed.
Well, thank you. So, do I hear a motion to close the, public hearing? So moved.
Second.
Motion made second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
No,
Okay, 6-1, motion carries. Okay, now, do I hear a motion to place the 2025 proposed budget, including a $500,000 increase on December 18 agenda? So moved.
Second.
Public display also. Public display.
And also to place on public display. Sorry.
But I believe this is the second, Mr. Reed, or excuse me, vice versa, this is the motion. Second.
Give you the credit.
Okay, so roll call. Please.
Here. Ms. Book,
Yes.
Mrs. DePew,
Yes.
Mrs. Eicher,
no,
Mr. Lucetti,
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas, Mr. Soborowski,
No, I'd rather see no taxes.
Mr. Beek,
Yes.
motion carries.
seriously, Republicans.
You
Look
don't
at there.
you know what, you
Do
don't
you
bring
care?
politics into this room. You can leave, there's no politics here. We're here for the people.
Am I kicked
Here's
out?
the point. You know what? We're gonna move on with our meeting. We're not
Okay.
talking about your politics.
And may I continue to sit here, Madam President?
Yes, you can sit there. Okay, we're gonna move on to bills and payroll. This works.
Thank you, Ms. Book. Administrative Services, Mrs. DePew,
In order.
Planning and Zoning, Mr. Lucetti,
In order?
Public Safety, Mr. Heath,
In order.
Public Works, Mrs. Eicher,
In order,
Recreation, Mr. Soborowski,
In order.
Storm Sewer Fund, Mrs. Eicher,
in order,
Sanitary Sewer Fund, Mrs. Eicher,
in order,
and Capital Projects Fund, Mrs. DePew.
In order.
I would ask for a motion to approve bills from the bill list dated December 4th, 2024, from the general fund totaling $23,505.54, from the storm sewer fund totaling $26,989.21, from the sanitary sewer fund totaling $102,672.60, and from the capital projects fund totaling $6,022.75.
So moved?
Second.
Motion's been made second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm abstaining because I'm apparently not supposed to be.
I asked that if you stop talking politics or you can leave. So you're here, oh my gosh, all right. Okay, we're gonna move on.
I would next ask for a motion to approve checks and transfers to be ratified from the general fund in the amount of $824.07, from the payroll fund in the amount of $76,172.68, for a grand total ratification in the amount of $76,996.75.
So moved?
Second.
Motion's made second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion
I
carries.
abstain on the matter is that I was elected, therefore this is a politics and this is a political
Well, that's what you brought up.
endeavor.
That's when I heard, you brought up politics. We're gonna move on.
Point of order. Mr. Solicitor, can we actually abstain?
No,
No.
you have to have a reason for refusal or abstention, and the rule generally is if you abstain without a reason, you vote with majority. It's irrelevant, you
Okay.
do 6 votes for yes, so
All right.
the motion carries.
Okay, thank you. This works.
I would next ask for a motion to ratify payroll for the pay date of November 29th, 2024, in the amount of $265,660.54.
So moved. Second. Motion's made second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Abstain.
There is an overtime list attached to the bill, or excuse me, to the payroll.
Fine, thank you. Okay, and then we have approval of minutes. A motion to approve the budget meeting minutes of November 16, 2024.
So moved.
Second?
Motion's made second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion, I hear a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of November 20, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Abstain.
Motion's made and second, and all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Abstain.
Mayor Newell.
Thank
You
you.
go to these motions, Pat, looking for 6,
copy and paste my same reason, that I'm an elected official. We declare parties as elected officials. That this is my reason for abstaining, that you
Okay,
cannot bring
that's
this
fine.
up.
You're present, so you chose not to vote, right? So
Yeah,
it's-
you're here, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
All right,
I'm
we're
not
moving
so
on to
sure
the
about
mayor's
that.
report.
Okay, I'm gonna give my monthly report for November 2020. EMS assist 125, court hearings, pretrial 82, accidents 19, criminal arrests 14, traffic stops 90, traffic details 88, written warnings, written traffic citations 71, written warnings of traffic violations 81. And in comparison with 2023, every single one of those statistics is lower except for accidents. There's 4 more accidents in 2024 than there were in 2023. Just to give you one comparison, so EMS assists, there'd be no reason to, that would explain this, but it was 125 EMS assists in 2024, it was 175 in 2023, so 50 more EMS assists. Money, fewer,
Yeah.
right, fewer. Monies collected turned over to the borough during November of 2024 amounted to $2,988.90. Chief reports that an officer experienced a medical event at home recently, was briefly hospitalized, and is expected to be off through the end of December. The officer is home, resting comfortably, and is expected to have a full recovery. Chief reports that the police department placed a new 2025 marked police vehicle in service last week. The second 2025 marked police vehicle should be in service by the end of next week. Less lethal weapon system. The new taser replaces older devices that have been in service for over 10 years. Skip Brown, do you have a fire company report?
I will get one in 2 weeks, Mr. Mayor. Just to inform council, we have our annual meeting elections this coming Monday, so if anybody wants to attend, they're welcome.
Running for secretary?
Only once a-
Okay, the only other item I have is that I will prepare a citation merit for Zachary Horvath. Zachary did the receptacle in the lobby of the community building to collect flags.
So pretty.
It's a beautiful.
It is.
Very nice.
Courtney, do you know if he did more than one?
Yeah, yes, I believe 2. I don't know the
Does he
other
wanna
location.
be-
Were you able to solve the problem of where the flags are gonna go? People are working.
Yeah, it was really good. And so I have not heard back. But thank you for reminding me, please. I did, what's happened is, for the public, is that the receptacle is filling up, almost overflowing. And so we contacted, one of the troops that is active in Whitehall. And they are gonna check with another troop that's in Whitehall at the Good Shepherd Lutheran Church. And to sort of see if both scout troops could be involved in the removal and disposal of the flags. So thank you, Kathy, for bringing that up. I guess one way to look is send somebody upstairs and look in there and see if there are any flags, but just know that is important to make sure that they take care of. Thank you, Madam
Okay.
President.
Thank you, Mayor. We have our solicitor's report, Mr. Furman.
Thank you, I do not have a report this evening.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Solicitor,
Yes.
we were supposed to have something about the parking situation, I think it was on Parkview. And, yeah, that,
So, you're talking about one that Ms. Brown came to?
yes, I was wondering if we had a follow-up on that.
We've been in discussions with her, and I understand she submitted an application, well, at least she's supposed to submit an application for a
another gentleman also can be taken care of. He had a handicap plate. He's actually lives in the same exact building as Mrs. Brown.
We've only had one application from Mrs. Brown, this is for Parkline Drive, not Park Two.
Yeah.
It's with the Department Traffic Officer who is reviewing it right now.
So it's in the process.
So this would be a perpetual thing until, of course, they notify you that they move, or perhaps even a once-a-year check-in rather than a nightly, hey, I'm gonna have to park on the street tonight.
We have permitted her to be on the street until we do our review.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Engineers report, Mr. Westmeisel.
Thank you, Madam President. I do have a real brief report, all listed in our November 27th written report. On item 4, Overlook Park, we did receive the contract documents and bond information from CHED Enterprises. Pre-construction meeting will be held next Tuesday. So then we'll be able to update the council on their proposed schedule. And then item 13, under the consent order, just a reminder, the projects listed in the Borough grant, we are going to receive bids on December the 11th. With a potential award on December 18th. This afternoon, Roto-Rooter Services began exploratory excavation for possible storm sewer or sanitary sewer problem on Ryland. A sinkhole developed last week. It was barricaded over the holiday. The sewer does appear to be excessively deep. It could be over 20 feet deep, so that's presenting a challenge. So we are reviewing the CCTV when it's made available, reviewing the locating records, and then also the information that they had today as they attempted to check the storm sewer, but it is blocked for about 60 feet. I think dumping has occurred, which blocked the end of the pipe, and over time, it's caused this problem. So we're just starting into this investigation, but it's not a typical simple repair that would be handled and we would know about it.
What was the location again, Mr. Smizer?
Ryland Road,
Ryland Road.
yes.
I'm not familiar with its location. Oh, that's off of Provost. Okay, yeah, sure. No, I remember.
3614 and 3622.
Okay, so around the cemetery side, I believe, or
No, that's not.
okay, on the opposite of the
It's
cemetery.
actually west.
Right.
Oh,
Yes.
okay, yeah,
So when you
that's
go down,
right.
when you
Okay.
make the left off of Provost on the west, right to Ryland, you make a right to Ryland, that's right.
Okay, yeah, so that's in your neck of the woods in Baldwin Manor. I see. Thank you.
That's all I have to report.
All right, thank you. Okay, we're gonna move on to Ms. Wertz, our manager's report.
Thank you, Ms. Cook. A number of housekeeping items before us. So you see the motions here. The first motion I have before council, I asked for notice to read the tax rate for 2025 in summary form and place it on public display for 2 weeks. To be clear, this is the, you have 2 versions in your packet. One was the no tax increase based on the budget that has been placed on public display. This is the version at 5.42 mils.
Is there a motion?
I move.
Second. Motion made, second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Okay, 6 to
Yeah, I
1.
opposed also.
Okay, 5 to 2, motion carries.
But I would make a motion to put the proposed budget with no tax increase on public display.
Just procedure, there's a motion and a second, and this one has to vote first before we make the motion.
Yeah.
So,
I believe
Okay,
there.
well, we just did. It was
Yes,
5 to
there's a
2.
motion and a second, and I believe, yes, the
5 to
names
2.
have it. Correct.
it's majority and second.
In summary form, yes. So this is an ordinance of the Borough of Whitehall, Allegheny County, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, fixing the tax rate for the year 2025.
I have one request of the staff is to please make sure that this proposed budget is placed on the finance site in at some point in time in the next business day. That would be fantastic, thank you.
It is annually. So next up.
No, I meant prior to its acceptance, that the proposed budget should be beside the current operating budget.
Yes, it is. It's legal session.
So are you saying that it's the proposed budget of 2025 that we just voted on just 1 second ago is currently linked on the
No, but it will be.
It will be
Okay.
the best one.
Okay, yeah, that's all I'm asking for, at some point in time before end of business tomorrow. Thank you.
The next item I have under my report is I ask for a motion to read in summary form and place on public display the 2025 wage and salary ordinance.
So moved.
Motion made second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No,
Okay, motion carries 6-1.
An ordinance of the Borough of Whitehall, Allegheny County, Pennsylvania, fixing salaries and wages to be paid to the public safety personnel, public works personnel, administrative personnel, swimming pool personnel, recreation personnel, and professional personnel for the calendar year 2025.
So moved.
Second.
That was just, sorry, that was just to read it.
To read it
You
in
already
form.
made the
Yeah.
motion second, it was read, it will be on public display and be considered for adoption.
Correct. Okay. So the next item before you for, again, consideration to read in summary form and place on public display, is the 2025 realty transfer tax ordinance.
So moved.
Motion made second, all in favor say aye.
aye.
Opposed?
I
Motion
oppose.
carries-
You oppose of the
Motion.
property tax?
Motion carries 6-1.
Yeah,
I mean, not the property tax, but the
It's
transfer
really
tax.
transfer tax.
Okay,
We just.
I
no,
know
we're
I'm
just
opposing
making-
that.
We're just making it consistent with other homeowners communities at that 1.5 level.
I understand that, but there's just no reason to.
Okay, the motion
I'd
carried
like to
6-1, we have to move on with.
So this, in summary form, it's an ordinance of the Borough of Whitehall, Allegheny County, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, amending chapter 163, article 4, section 163-37, 163-37, to levy a realty transfer tax in an amount of 1% of the value of the real estate effective January 1, 2025. Next before you, again, this is you have two versions of this budget resolution in your packet. This is the one with the 5.42 mil. So I'm asking for a motion to read in summary form the 2025 budget resolution to be placed on public display for 2 weeks.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No,
Okay, motion carries 6-1,
no, it was 6-2.
or 5-2. I didn't hear
I
that
mean,
over
5 to
there.
2.
I didn't hear that over there, thank you very much.
A resolution of the Borough of Whitehall, Allegheny County, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, appropriating specific sums estimated to be required for the specific purpose of the municipal government hereinafter set forth during the year 2025. Next on my report, attached in your packets would be a highlighted list of the individuals of whose terms on the various boards and commissions will be expiring at the end of this year. So I'm asking for direction from council if you'd like to instruct me to contact these individuals to see if they wish to serve another term.
Okay, is there a consensus of the council? Yes.
I will bring that forward at the next meeting.
Okay. Thank you.
Next included in your packet is the draft advertising for the meeting dates. We'll soon be advertising the 2025 meetings. Typically, we do include the dates for the budget meetings in this notice. If council elects to follow the past practice, those dates will be November 1st, 8th, and 15th at 9 a.m. Also note that the first Wednesday in January is January 1st. So does council wish to preemptively cancel this meeting and the advertising will be adjusted accordingly?
Yes.
Yes.
You need a motion?
Yes.
Okay.
Make a motion, we do not have a meeting on January 1st
And to advertise.
and advertise.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, motion's made and second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Next in your packet is the 2025 HVAC agreement. Okay. Sorry, that's okay. Roof Rock has provided the annual maintenance agreement for 2025, so I ask that council authorize the proper officials to enter into such agreement for 2025.
So moved. Motion's made and seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
And then just a quick update on some grants. Unfortunately, we were unsuccessful in our application for both Allegheny County Health Department grants, for the Radford Road tree planting and the solar panel grant. Just spoke with Ms. McRae earlier, we're waiting on the score sheets to see why. We're kind of shocked. They had said that no one had applied. We put together two very strong applications, much to Ms. McRae's credit here. We've not also seen the awardees yet as well, so we're interested to see where our competition was. But so unfortunately we're unsuccessful in those. But the Shade Tree Commission has submitted the Tree Vitalize grant for the Radford Road tree planting that council did authorize me to sign that letter at the last council meeting. So there's still some opportunity to reduce costs for that project. But then on the solar side, I am still working with PA Solar and Connect about applying for those direct pay credits through the IRS, as we discussed before. So ending my report on a bit of a low note, I apologize. But that is all that I have, Madam President.
Thank you. We'll move on to Assistant Manager, Ms. Rogella.
No report this evening.
Okay, thank you. Now we have our committee reports, the public safety, Mr. B.
Thank you, Madam President. Just two things. First, a motion to adopt a resolution for the Whitehall Police Department to continue participating in the South Hills DUI task force. So I'm making that motion that we adopt the resolution.
As a point of order, your first motion should read the resolution in its entirety.
All right. So I can read that.
I will read it for you if I can have a second to do so.
I have to write you to do that, Ms. Brooks.
Okay, motion's been, excuse me, made and seconded to read the motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Be it resolved by the authority of the Council of the Borough of Whitehall, Allegheny County, and it is hereby resolved by authority of the same that the Chief of Police of said municipality authority be authorized and directed to sign this agreement on its behalf. Further be resolved that the South Hills DUI Task Force shall participate with the Borough of Whitehall for the purpose of promoting safer highways in the Commonwealth by educating and enforcing driving under the influence of alcohol or drug statutes. I, Courtney M. Wertz, Borough Manager of the Borough of Whitehall, do hereby certify that the foregoing is a true and correct copy of the resolution adopted at a regular meeting of the Council of the 4th of December 2024.
Can I ask a quick question before we go? I'm sorry. Is this, did I hear you say, Bill, that it was a continuation of, we've already been doing this, or is this
Yes.
a new agreement?
Chief, you can explain it.
We've been a part of the task force since the 1980s. We actually instituted it. In the 90s, it moved over. Baldwin kind of took over the lead in managing the program. So this is just a continuation of what we've been doing for 4 years.
Thank you.
So then I will need a motion to adopt resolution 1040.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Okay, roll call please.
Ms. Book?
Yes.
Mrs. DePew?
Yes.
Mrs. Iker?
I'm sorry, I don't know what we're voting on right now.
For us.
These are additional patrols for DUI enforcement, where it can be a stationary patrol. If you ever see when you drive down the road and there's the officers lined up, and the officers come up and talk to the individuals that they think are under the influence, they take them off the side of the road. to do
Okay,
testing.
a checkpoint.
And then we can also, a checkpoint, then we also do roving patrols. We do ticket enforcement, checking for seatbelt violations. We can also do aggressive driving details. This all opens up the grant reimbursement for the officers.
Okay,
Okay, so
all right, thank you for the clarification.
So we have.
I have my yes vote on that. Thank you.
Mr. Nuccetti?
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Soborowski?
Yes.
Mr. B?
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Okay, are you done, Court?
Yes.
All right, the second thing, Chief, it's been brought up to our attention to explain the mugs for the expenditure to the Convoy Specialty Company. Do you mind telling us what that's about?
We purchased ceramic coffee mugs that has the department logo imprinted on them to be able to give out as gifts or rewards when we have presentations or we have special guests within the police department. I think we purchased 72 of them. The last time that they were purchased was in 2018 or 2019 through the Convoy Company because he already has the print for it and we paid the setup design for
a lot of business, he's very comfortable, very good.
It comes out of the community relations budget. We also have stickers on order, coloring books are on order for kids. We just ordered a, I want to say table display, basically a covering that goes over a table when we're out doing their presentations or the active shooter event in Brentwood that has our logo on it and says Whitehall Police Department. And I can assure you that that line item budget will be what we budgeted for. If anybody would like a coffee made in the house, I can bring it to the next meeting.
I'm okay, but I just wanted to ask if Baldwin Whitehall School District was at all considered, because I do believe that they have a fabrication shop or such types of little giveaways like that.
They were not considered, we could look at them down the road.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great, thank you.
It still would be a cost.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you.
That's the end of my report, Madam President.
Okay, thank you, Mr. B. Move on to Administrative Services, Mrs. Dupuy, no report. No report? Okay. Planning and Zoning, Mr. Lucetti.
Yes, the Planning Commission will meet next Wednesday, December 11th. On the agenda is to review the Grove Point Phase 2 10th Amendment, a subdivision to establish property lines along party walls of 4 townhouse units under construction. This subdivision represents the final subdivision for the Grove Point development. The Zoning Hearing Board will hold a special meeting on Thursday, December 19th. The board is expected to render a decision on a variance request at 4541 Country Club Drive from the height requirement in Article 25, the accessory structures and accessory uses, to permit a cupola to be attached to the accessory use building. And at the same meeting, the board will also hold a hearing on an appeal of the determination of the zoning officer and or a variance request at 4672 Clairton Boulevard to construct a digital sign with a display that is not stationary. No questions? This is all I have.
Any questions? Okay, thank you. Move on to Library, Mrs. Thomas.
No report from the library, but I would like to, sorry, Hannah, would like to say thank you to members of the library and members of the rec board for a very successful Whitehall Sustainability Market. Great things about it. Was unfortunate to not be in town for it, but wanted to thank Hannah for your partnership there, along with everybody.
And I was not in town at all. I was actually coming back and almost in the snowstorm. Came through Buffalo and Erie, so sorry that we couldn't make that, but next year we'll plan a little better.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Alrighty. Recreation, Mr. Soborowski.
I was there for the sustainability market, and Hannah and the recreation board and everybody involved did a fantastic job. Like everybody said, thank you. And I'm sure Hannah has her report and a bunch of good stuff.
No, I'll use.
You'll be the first.
I'll be the first.
Break in the podium.
So I do want to thank everybody that was there in the partnership with Miss Denise. This will be an annual event that we will bring to Whitehall. We helped a lot of families and a lot of people that just wanted to come and give new love to members. So also, if you notice when you're walking into the Borough building for the meeting, on the left-hand side, there is a mailbox for letters to Santa. The Recreation Department reached out to partner with Baldwin Borough to collect letters to send to Santa. The mailboxes are located at the Whitehall Borough Building, the Baldwin Borough Building, as well as the Baldwin Library. We will be collecting until December 16th to ensure that they made it to the North Boone in time. So if anybody would like to send a letter to Santa, that is the mailbox you can use. And then lastly, we are collecting for our second annual season of giving. We are partnering with the Community Clothing Exchange. Last year, we were able to help over 300 families in the Baldwin Whitehall School District. We are collecting items of all sorts, but we are requesting children's clothing as they are in the most demand currently. You can drop off in the library during business hours, administration during business hours, as well as the police department. There is also a higher demand of other items that are needed located on the website, Facebook, and those sorts if you would like to purchase and have anything gently used for that as well.
Okay, thanks, Hannah. And your staff as always.
Yes.
one thing to add. We glossed over the meeting advertisement, which one might understand to mean the Borough Council meetings that we are doing like right now. Or would that also include the committee meetings that are advertised? Because it became a sticking point this current calendar year, it being difficult to get a quorum for our committee and other committees in which to meet at the specific appointed time. And there didn't seem to be any flexibility procedural wise in perhaps even remote attendance or even opening up the meeting and perhaps adjourning it until quorum could be had maybe late during the evening, maybe about 7 o'clock. But anyhow, it is indeed difficult for, since we have a quorum of working professionals on this council to meet at a time that works with business hours, as well as making sure that anyone from the community would have the appropriate ability to get here. Whenever I first discovered that I was to be on the Public Works Committee, it wasn't until I was appointed onto the Public Works the fourth Tuesday at 5 p.m. I continued to let it be at 5 p.m. because I had the very naive assumption that the Public Works Superintendent might want to come to the Public Works meetings, and it's a long day for him, so I thought that would be a nice gesture to continue to keep it at 5 o'clock and not have to have a re-advertisement of all of the times. Unfortunately, that became a mistake as time went on, that it was impossible for this committee to meet at that time, despite my attempts to go ahead and do so. I'm also a member of the Recreation Committee, and there is some distinction between the Recreation Committee and the Recreation Board, where the Recreation Board will meet at 7 p.m., but the Recreation Committee will meet at 5 p.m. At a different date at that, and it definitely brings to overly complicating things to not really. You could possibly have these meetings perhaps coincide a little bit with the dates, such that you could have a very short committee meeting prior to
The purpose of the committee
in
meeting
that
is
area.
to have an agenda, a reason to meet,
Uh-huh.
okay, for any committee. And then like the recreation board, and that's a separate entity from our
Mhm.
council committee, so everyone understands that, that's two different, that's apples and oranges.
Yeah, but the point that she's making, the committee meeting should be after 5 p.m. It's ridiculous, and a lot of them, at least all of them that I've been on in the past, were after 5 p.m.
Ms. Wertz, didn't we just vote on the meeting dates and times, and what was it, 7-0?
I don't have the vote in front of me, but you did just vote on it. It was the meeting times that included the council meetings, the board and commissions themselves, and the council committees, which are outlined in the bottom.
Thank you.
So they're two different entities, I don't want the public to get confused with what we're discussing. You know, we have a council committee for each department, recreation, public works, and so on. And then we have the boards, we have the commission, the planning commission, we have the library board, the recreation board, which is separate. So that being said, and we did vote on all this, so. I
Well,
think
this
that,
is to advertise the 2025 meeting minutes. I thought that was just meant, you were gonna put it on display and talk about it.
This
This
is
is
a motion
to
to advertise
advertise.
in the newspaper record, and a draft ordinance was included. The only change will, based on the conversation this evening, will specifically call out that the January 1st meeting is canceled,
Yeah.
given that that's the first Wednesday, 2025.
yes, we have that.
Well, then I would like to change that to put committee meetings at 7.
Well, you can, I mean,
I can certainly.
I
No,
think-
no, just
I think,
point of order.
no, I think he can make a, he can certainly make a motion. This was on the agenda, this topic was on the agenda to be discussed. So this topic is eligible to be discussed. Okay, there was a motion made for these dates, it was approved. There's, you know, basically it's a motion to, you know, reconsider, but this is semantics. He wants to make a motion to change, you know, I think what it was, motion to amend the times of the committees. Mr. Sobrowski, is that what? you
Yeah,
wanted to do?
to 7 p.m.
So it'd be a motion to amend the times for is it the library committee? Just to be clear, you're talking about.
Committees.
You're not talking about the meetings, you're talking about the library committee, administrative service committee, planning and zoning committee, parks committee, public works committee, public safety committee, and recreation committee to switch it, and you want to make that 7 p.m.
7 p.m. Just to, exactly like the, council meetings, planning commission, zoning hearing board, recreation. Yeah.
So it's a big.
And like I said, in the past, they were at 7, actually at 7.
So it'd be a motion to amend.
No, they weren't.
Really?
You're
You sure about that?
It'd be a motion to
Yes.
amend.
Because I've been waiting to pull this out for a while. You called me a liar before.
Oh, I
and
didn't use that term, but okay.
And I actually printed out an email exchange. This is from the planning board. You can't see all the emails on it, but these are 6 and 7 o'clock. You have up to in your
Well,
email.
sure.
Boards or are they?
They're committee meetings. So, yeah,
I don't know
they.
What time period is it? 'Cause
You're on it too,
I
Mr.
don't know.
Aaron.
Yeah, well, I think what's happening
Oh,
here is
that's,
that we never,
no.
under the Sunshine Act, you should advertise, the committees are public meetings and should be advertised. In the past, we've been kind of, the committees were set up whenever there was an issue. You know what I mean? There weren't regular committees,
Right.
regular meetings of committees. As an issue arose that was a matter of public
The
safety.
sunshine law changed in response, sorry to cut you off.
Okay,
In
all right.
response to that, I believe it's been at least 2 years now, don't quote me on
Yeah,
that.
yeah, something like that.
The committee meetings have been included with the annual meeting advertisement as a result of recent changes in the Sunshine Act themselves.
Listen, trust me, I talked to a lot of mayors across the state. There are a lot of communities that don't understand the Sunshine Act and the need to advertise committees. I'm not gonna belabor, whether it's been in there or not, but the fact of the matter is that we used to do it on an ad hoc basis. There wasn't any regular meetings. I mean, there wasn't any need to meet unless it was an issue. So we wouldn't meet unless it was an issue. But now, because we're sensitive to the fact that you have to advertise, the meetings are being advertised even though
There's no business.
most of them will never take place.
And staff does make effort, we post the cancellation
But
officially
you have to, 'cause
every,
it's
for every meeting.
incumbent on us to
Yes.
have these posted.
Being times. The 5 o'clock, I realize that some people can't make 5 o'clock, okay? But
Pretty
I
much
think
anybody that
there's a
works
reason,
till 5 o'clock.
the reason for 5 o'clock is probably because the staff attends those meetings.
Yeah.
And it's easy for them to go from their regular workday rather than come in for, all these meetings. So
Irrelevant,
for
since
what
we're
it-
not allowed to talk to the staff, that's irrelevant.
For what it's
Irrelevant.
worth, you can discuss whether it should be 5 or 7, but I thought I would say that I think
Well,
it's
that's
a,
important, valid point
it's
there.
better for Courtney and Alyssa and Hannah.
Excuse me,
And
paid
look, I have an opinion. I have an
133
opinion.
K
That-
a year,
Let the mayor
and
speak.
If you don't like my opinion, that's fine, but I'm just, and I'm not even saying you have to do it. I'm not saying I'm in it for it, but if you decide 7 o'clock, that's what we used to have.
Or it could be 6 o'clock, whatever. I mean, some of us have to be on site. I mean, not all of us work from home or can make 5 o'clock meetings. And Beth said, I get a stipend of $300. Our administrative staff is paid well, so if they have to come in one day, I'm sure they get, comp time or something else, reimbursement. So, I mean,
No, but they don't.
they
Can
don't.
I,
So,
can I?
Alyssa, do you get comp time right now? You don't get 4 hours comp time right now? I thought we talked about the budget. Yes, for your council meetings.
Overtime, yes.
And.
Okay, you know what?
So what's the difference?
I'm sorry,
Sorry,
but
this
there's,
is a slight difference.
These
So
are
we
the
should
people
dance on
who
one
got
leg.
right. They're all in phrases.
You know what? Beth Lynn, they have to,
Are you
settle
acting
down.
up for the, they have to go? Because this is pretty. You know
Was
what,
that
do I have to
professional?
recess the meeting? So you calm down or? We need to, have some decorum here.
First
Lacey,
you have to kick me
Yeah.
out.
So, Bethany, can I speak important that we look at how many potential committee meetings we are asking a variety of our staff to stay for? It's maybe just one for each of us that happens to be attending one of those meetings, but we're talking 8 meetings a month in addition to all of the other meetings that the staff is required to be here for, to take minutes, to provide additional support. And I think that's a lot to ask them to have to leave and go home
Why
and
have
then come
committees?
back.
Why have
the motion
Or,
so we
or,
can move
hey,
on.
whatever committee I'm on, I would like it to be moved, so can we keep that? Can we do that? Whatever
no,
committee the
because
president.
the advertisement has to go out before our next meeting. And that's
Well,
the
who's the
meeting
next
we
president?
appoint
Can't
the
they just
officers,
decide what I'm on
and they
right now?
put on, they,
Not
the
yet.
president decides who goes on what committee.
Well, Bill
So
Gates is the next
logistically, it
president.
doesn't.
What do you want me on?
That's not for
Well,
sure.
here's, just to explain to the public. There's a reorganization after every election, okay? So in
There's,
community,
Mr. Mayor, to be clear, there's a required reorganization by statute every
This will
2
be the
years.
next meeting.
This is, you know, the Whitehall.
No, yeah, I'm gonna explain.
Traditionally does that, just to be clear, I just wanna
Okay,
make
okay,
sure.
yeah, okay.
There's not there's a requirement after municipal election to
Alright.
do a reorganization. There's not one after this
Right.
year, but council may do that.
Yeah, under the borough code, there's a reorganization meeting after every municipal election. So that's during the odd years is a municipal election. Following that election, there's a reorganization. It's mandated. In Whitehall Borough, the tradition is that the presidency switches every year. So every year, there's a new president. And it's by the culture of the, of the borough that this is done. So in order for Mr. V as vice president to succeed, Ms. Book has to resign her position interim, and then the position can be filled by Mr. V. So if you're a betting person, that's gonna happen at the next meeting.
December 18th.
Yeah, but in which case,
In January. No,
Yeah,
December.
in which
No,
case-
we're having it December 18th. Yes, because there is no meeting January 1st.
yeah,
There still is the first meeting in January.
it doesn't, hey, she can resign whenever she wants.
People could,
But we have been doing it in December, and it gives the new president, be able to start from the very
Can't we do it
beginning.
at the second meeting in January, is what I think Kathy's asking, right, Kathy? Your request is the second meeting in
But when
January?
it's,
The
when
first-
it's
it's
on
gonna
an
be
election,
actually the
when it's
first
not
meeting.
following an election year, it's permitted to be December
Yeah,
18th.
she can resign whenever she
Yes.
do whatever she
She
wants.
can resign whenever she wants, there you go.
That's why we talked about that being on the agenda, because we knew, January 1st, when I asked the.
It's all
solicitor.
triggered by
Yeah, if it's,
Linda's resignation. It's all triggered.
okay.
So cool. I don't wanna be on any committees next year.
Okay.
Because this is totally irrelevant. This is totally irrelevant. The staff runs the shots around here. And that's why we're having a half mil tax increase.
No, not at all. I mean, you can't misrepresent like you do so much, so Ms. Iker. Okay.
Works
Okay,
committee,
well,
I resign the public, in fact, I'm
All
leaving.
right. You
I'm
resign
from council, I'm just resigning from public works committee
All
because
right.
it was a meaningless committee.
Okay. They only meet when they have an agenda, not your agenda. Stone?
Excuse
did you
me,
have
what
something
is
to
the
say?
point of having,
Stone?
excuse
Did you
me,
have
what
something
is
to
the
say?
point of having a chair? Of the point of
Just
having
speak
any
very
committee?
loud.
What's
Make
the
your
point of
sense.
having any
Serving
committee
the
where
public,
the
not
staff
you,
doesn't
not
come?
yourself.
If you don't even
Okay.
have the public have a time
All right.
where they can actually
Beth
come
Lynn,
to the meetings.
Please stop yelling at this.
I'm out.
All right, thank you. Stone, did you want to make a
Yeah, if we're not gonna do 7, which I understand, maybe staying a little later, that's fine. Can we split the difference at 6?
Oh, so you're at, well, what's your motion?
It would be, he's asking, but I think would eventually be a motion to change the committee start times that were listed on, from 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock.
All the committee meetings.
Just
All
the
the
committee
committee
hearings.
So that's your motion to make them at 6 o'clock.
What about 5:30? Because I do feel for the staff that do have to stay here for that.
Would that work better for your?
I mean, that's cutting it really close, but
It's sort of-
5:30.
It's a-
It's a, yeah, okay, it's
5:30
5:30.
work?
5:30 is fine.
So if you're minutes late on this one.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's 5:30.
Okay, so that's a
5:30.
motion
Is
to.
this a motion or a motion to add a motion?
No, this is a motion, because again, this
Well,
topic
this
is
is
on
live.
the agenda, so
Okay, so
it's a
I make
motion
the
to
vote no
amend
because it's on the agenda.
the advertising to, change the committee start times from 5 o'clock to 5:30. Now, that's Mr. Soborowski's motion.
Okay, Mr. Soborowski has that motion.
I'll second
Your
it.
second,
Yeah.
okay. Motion's been made and second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
I hope that works better for you, Joe.
Yeah, it does, thank you.
Okay, very good. And Parks Committee, Mrs. Depew.
No report.
Okay. Now we have my Allegheny County Boroughs Association, and I have a quarterly meeting next week, so I don't have a report for anything new.
Linda, the only thing new coming up for any council members is the, take the new representatives.
Oh, the representative, the legislatures,
The
in
legislators
January.
in January,
Yes,
so I
yes.
forget the date of it.
Oh, that's
It's
January
coming out in
16th.
January. It will be done at, I believe, Station Square.
It's at the Sheraton Station Square for the legislature, meet up, yes,
So
for
if
the
you
file.
yeah.
Yeah.
Want to go down there and meet, you went last year, maybe.
Yeah, I haven't signed up yet.
We will double check this if you.
That's January 16th.
Yeah, if you don't mind forwarding that information to myself or
Oh.
Mr. Gallo, we'll forward it out to everyone else to confirm.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, thanks, Kathy. And, the Pennsylvania State Association of Boroughs, PSAB, again, April 2nd is the deadline for submission of, resolutions, from our borough, which we've been, quite busy in doing that in the last 10 years. And I just want everyone in the audience to know that the public can give us ideas to submit, need always brings up good ideas. So please let us know about that, because our Allegheny County Boroughs Association, which I'm a board member, that's what we precipitate sending to the PSAB. We write out these good ideas that, like the mayor and his radar, it's still out there. And some other good ones we have. So I just want to know the public's definitely involved with that, or can be, okay? And now we have the Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Beek.
I'm gonna refer to you. Are you the president now?
I'm the vice president. But there is a luncheon tomorrow, but I did want to highlight the speaker at last month's luncheon. It was Tim Hines, for those of you that recall, that know him. He had done our website a number of years ago, and he spoke on the topic of AI, and he actually did a live presentation, which was, Hannah and I, it's so informative. I find AI equally terrifying and interesting, so it was just phenomenal. I can't speak highly enough about him as an individual and the presentation that he gave, so. Yeah, and there's a lunch tomorrow, so, and it's another, like, mentalist that is speaking, so, so it's very, very interesting. Yeah, we're excited. But that's all.
Okay, thank you. And first, Board of Directors, we have Lacey and Mr. Machetti.
Not Lacey just yet.
Not yet. Not yet, forget it,
Next month.
Lacey.
So the MRTSA Board of Directors met last week on November 27th, and that meeting was intended to pass the budget and community assessment amounts. The board did pass the budget, but did not unanimously pass the community assessment amounts. And as such, the official community assessment amounts would be passed at the next meeting, which would be on Christmas, but they canceled that meeting. Christmas. So it won't happen until the January meeting. So what that means for Whitehall is that the official amount of the assessment is on hold. It won't increase from what is proposed in the budget, so our budget it won't go up from there. So I'll have a better update in January about what's going on. Whitehall received 246 calls in the month of October, which is an 11% increase from September. And finally, it was Bob McCown's last meeting as a part of the MRTSA board. He was presented with a proclamation from Representative Dan Miller honoring his 28 years on the board. And the board also had the same proclamation to provide to Mr. Phil Lahr, honoring his time on the board as well.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next we have Shaycog, Mr. Beef.
Thank you, Madam President. First of all, there'll be no meeting in December, but November meeting, one good thing, the Vector truck will be sitting in our parking lot. It's finally on bid. Notice the bid. I don't know if there's gonna be any takers, but, we finally got that done. As Luke says, hopefully we can get rid of this beast. Second of all, we have a new member for Shaycog, Corey Optimus joined. Now it makes it 23 members, all right? So the more the better for us. After they pay their dues and initiation, they'll be welcome into the Shaycog. And thirdly, since we lost some grant money, I got some more money for you. This is from Penvest. Are you familiar with it?
Yes.
They have emergency money, federal money, and they said they can get $500,000 up to $500,000 in a loan of 1%. So
Yes,
it's worth
they're-
looking into.
They're loans, not grants, but,
Oh, okay.
but, yes.
Well, I know they're not a grant money, but there's a contact person, Daniel Nixon. There you go. I pulled it up accidentally.
It's okay, you taped it. Considerate. You taped it. You're so considerate.
Good prepared, right? And that's all I got for.
All right,
Shaycog.
thank you, Mr. Beef. Is there any new business?
You know, there's one thing that I'd like to bring up from the last meeting. It's been sort of resonating with me as a member of the pension committee. I'm sorry that Bethlehem chose to leave. But Stone, you said something about that Bethlehem found something in the file about the pension. I don't know if you know what that is or not, but I don't think there were any documents in the
300,000
purge.
misallocation.
That was not in the documents. That was not in the purge documents, I don't believe, was it?
There were no pension files on the purge list.
So, and I'm not sure, I don't know what so there wasn't anything in the purge documents. And I think on the 300,000, so she found it some other way, not through purge. And it's been talked about before, that was a.
Just a point of clarification, the auditors in our annual audit noticed the discrepancy and it was corrected immediately.
Okay, so I don't think she knew about it before the auditors. So the auditors noted it, and a correction was made. And as I've explained before, it's like two different bank accounts. Okay, so you got the borough's money here, and you get the pension money here that the borough controls. So it's just like moving money from one account to the other. There's not any kind of a problem, and I want to make that clear. Our pension funds are, fully funded, and we're in a great position in Whitehall Borough with our employees. So I just, again, because I'm on the pension committee, I have some sensitivity with someone, makes a comment about the pension.
Are you gonna let me come to the pension meeting this time?
I let you know.
You let me know the day of, and it was at 1 o'clock. It's a little ridiculous,
All right,
but
okay.
would you publicly,
Is that what
Give
this
me
was?
more-
First of all, it's not my meeting, but I have I'll state this. I have absolutely, it's not my meeting, okay? The pension committee is the chief and Mr. Reed and the pension board, right? There's
And me and the two professionals and manager.
Okay, and so I will say to you that I have no.
I have none.
okay,
Okay.
then will you give me 48 hours notice before the next pension meeting? So, more than like 3 hours notice?
Okay, that's all settled, gentlemen? All good?
Yeah,
Okay.
5:40, yeah, that's.
All right.
Is that agreed, 48 hours, so I could ask any question I wanted to leave?
So that you could be, so it's
So I
got.
could be-
Well, I'll tell you what, typically these meetings are announced before we actually have them, okay? I mean,
Correct, it's dictated by the two professionals, the investment firm and the actuary, their schedule, and then the committee is alerted to it, so Mr. Mayor, you're more than welcome to pass that on.
I'll tell you what, 24 hours. All I need is 24 hours.
Wow.
Please.
Okay, so you're all settled with that. Okay, Lori, real quick.
Just real quick,
Go ahead.
is it, if it's canceled on on the first, that
Yeah.
means it's gonna be the following Wednesday on the
15th.
eighth? Oh,
The
the 15th.
15th.
Okay, I didn't hear that.
No,
Okay.
that's okay.
All right,
No, no.
thank you.
Good question. The first and third Wednesday of every month, and the first
I
is
just know we were gonna
council
start
because of New Year's
again.
Day, but the
Thank you.
15th will be our first
Right.
meeting in
Advertises.
January.
Okay, thank
Good
you.
question, just to clarify that. But we'll be here in 2 weeks on the 18th. So that being said, no other new business. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Thank you, everyone, for coming.